Whenever people ask for a notebook that's powerful, portable, and pretty, Apple's latest iteration of their MacBook is usually the default answer for many. But not everybody likes working with Apple's OS, and many people, us included, like using Windows for better or for worse. That's where the ASUS Zenbook UX305LA comes in. Built as a direct competitor to the MacBook, the newest iteration of the UX305 ditches the mediocre Core M processor it initially had with a more powerful Core i7 processor. Does the UX305LA have what it takes to match up against a 2016 MacBook? We're gonna find out today. But before we begin, let's take a look at its specs. If you've seen the previous iteration of the UX305 before, the UX305LA looks exactly the same. It's still made from lovely aluminum, is incredibly lightweight at just 1.3 kilos, and is no thicker than 14.9 millimeters. The eye-catching Koei-centric Zen-inspired design is still there, and it's still begging to be made into a conversation piece whenever we took the notebook out of our bag. Once you pick up the notebook, you'll see just how well made it is, and everything just screams premium. Opening the lid, you'll see the rather roomy keyboard and the 13.3-inch Quad HD display. While the design does take a lot of inspiration from Apple's playbook, it's hard to deny how handsome it looks. Because of its size and its thinness, you can pretty much stuff it in any decent-sized bag. It even fit our skinny leather messenger bag. Unlike Apple's MacBook, the UX305LA has plenty of USB ports to plug your devices into. A total of 3 ports, 1 on the right, 2 on the left, give you plenty of connections to plug in your phone, mouse, or whatever external device you need. There's also a SD card reader on the left and a micro HDMI port on the right if you need it. The UX305LA might be thin, but it has awesome chiclet-style keyboard that's simply a pleasure to type on. We were pleasantly surprised with the notebook's keyboard, considering its overall thickness. The keyboards have enough travel and is comfortable to type on for long durations without inducing fatigue. The UX305LA has a 13.3-inch Quad HD display, which is a huge bump from the Full HD display in the previous generation. We're absolutely in love with the display of the notebook, as it has good color reproduction and contrast levels. Even better, ASUS has treated the display with a matte coating that eliminates glare even under intense sunlight. The speakers for the notebook are hidden in the hinge and produce okay-ish sound if you're in a quiet room. Internally, the UX305LA runs Intel's previous generation Intel Core i7-5500U Broadwell processor, though it can be had in either Core i3 or Core i5 variants as well. That's paired with 8GB of DDR3 memory along with 512GB of SSD storage. While the i7 Broadwell processor isn't the top of the line tech now that Skylake has been announced, it still gives the UX305LA more grunt than a previous Core M processor that its predecessor shipped with. In graphical benchmarks, the UX305LA managed to score decent marks despite not having a discrete video card. It can handle photo and video editing in a pinch, though its limited storage space and lack of discrete video card may be limiting factors. With a Core i7 processor and a Quad HD display, does the UX305 reach the optimistic 11-hour mark that ASUS promises on a single charge? Well, the short answer is no, absolutely not. The best that we can do was probably around 6 hours on Wi-Fi using basic browsing and typing stories while on the go. Still, 6 hours is 6 hours. That's more than enough to get you through a particularly busy workday. Fast, light, beautiful. ASUS set out to make a MacBook killer with a new version of the UX305, and they've succeeded. While it's a little bit slower than the just refreshed MacBook armed with Intel Skylake processor, it's a little bit cheaper compared to that. Our review unit, as configured, came in at around 65,000 pesos, give or take. In contrast, you'll be paying around 80,000 pesos for the top-of-the-line Core M equipped MacBook because there is no local availability for the newest Skylake equipped MacBook as of yet.